Okay, last week we covered until chapter 6 about this inheritance. So basically, you know what is an inheritance? Inheritance, we're going to take up those common attributes in two classes. Common attribute, then we try to do something called a generalization. Okay, and put it under the class called a superclass. Example, in this one, you can see there is a color, color, and color. All the classes from the circle until triangle here, we have a same attribute called color. So we do the generalization, we take out the color and put it on top. Okay, we call it as a geometric object, as you can see from here. Okay, not this one. Geometric object, you can see. Last week, this one, geometric object, what we call. Okay, right? If you still remember, okay, try to look at one sample before we continue. Okay, from here, I come up one sample here, example. Now, just in case, I have three different classes here. One is called customer, another is employee, another one is product. So if I want you to do the generalization, what you can do from here? Yeah, what you can do from here? You can see there's a name, and there's a name here, right? Can I try to create one class? Okay, maybe now I try to do some generalization here. From here, customer and employee both having a name. So you can try to create one class. Okay, this class maybe as a general customer, employee, we call it as a human, right? Or any better term you can try to call. Customer, employee, any other term other than human? You may try to think of the name. So let's say I call it as a human from here. So all the human having the name, so we try to do it this way, string name. Okay, we try to take out this name. The name we take out, so no more name over here. And same thing, employee, once we take out from here, there is no more name. So we create a class called this one. Then we call it as a human from here. So now the question comes again. Since the customer and employee both having a name, if we try to take out the name, that means that there is no more name, right? How are we going to make sure in here the customer is a subclass, then the human is a parent class? What should we do? Last week? From here? Yes, we're using the keyword called extends. Okay, from here, we're going to use this keyword called extends. Extend from the human. Oops. Extend human in this case. So we say customer extend from the human. Employee also extend from the human. Okay. Now the question comes for the product. Product also have name, right? Can I also say that this product I want to generalize it, become product, then I do the extend from here. Extend this one human. Can I do so? No. Remember last week we say that extend, we call it as a relationship is a relation. Okay, is a. We have to read this one. We say customer is a human. Okay, right? Employee is a human. Correct. Can I say product is a human? No. You cannot do so. Even though we say generalization, but you also need to take care about this relation. Those things you cannot put it in the relationship. You don't do a generalization. Not to say every time you want to reuse it with this name, just take it and use. No. So here, example for the product, you cannot do generalization. You cannot use a keyword called extend. The only one you can do is repeat this name again inside here. Okay, you need to repeat this one inside here. Again, so assignment, I want to see the same thing. Not to say everything you do the extend. You need to think about the logic way and always check for the relationship. Extend is a relation. Okay, is a customer is a human, employee is a human, product cannot say is a human. Alright, it's not from the same family. Okay, so here, this is what we covered last week. Okay, we're using this keyword called extend from here. Okay, let's move on. also when you want to draw this what we call UML notation. Okay, for the UML notation we have to use the arrow here. So circle and geometric object, when you see this arrow means that which one is a parent, which one is a child. From this arrow, this is called extents. Circle extend from geometric object. So means that circle is a child, or we call it as a subclass. Then geometric object is called it as a parent class, or sometimes we call it a superclass. Alright, sometimes we also call it as a base class. There's a many different names, all referring to the same thing. Base class, superclass, parent class, okay, all refer to your inheritance here, okay, for this part. Alright, and also you need to know how to read this plus and minus sign in your written test next week. Okay, you need to know minus sign stand for private, public stand for the plus sign here. Okay, now continue from here. Even though we say inheritor means that whatever in the parent class is inherit to your subclass, but something you are not allowed to inherit is a private access modifier. Okay, let's try to check in here. Okay, just make example. Let's say I already create a class called circle, circle, cylinder, and geometry object. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for my codes given here, geometry object, you can see I create one class. You can see here. Okay, class geometry object, setter and getter, I did not put it in. Okay, now circle, if you want to say circle is a geometry object, then you have to remember put in this extend keywords, circle. Okay, this one circle in this case. Extend, okay, geometry object, geometry. Okay, extend geometry object. So from here you can see geometry object, we have one private access modifier for colors. Okay, this colors, and other is a public. Now this not say that private field is not inherit, it's not accessible from the subclass. What does it mean here? Now let's say under my subclass, okay, I would like to have something called toString methods in here. toString method is used to display the data. Okay, public. Public string to string. Okay, try to return. Okay, now let's say I want to return the data for the color. Can you try to put the color directly from here? This color, if you put this return color, compiler will return error to you because color is not defined inside the circle class, right? Okay, the compiler did not know what is a color. Even though you mentioned this one already extend from the geometry object, but this geometry object, the color itself defined as a private. That means that private can only access within the class itself. Outside the class, not able to access it. Okay, right? So this one cannot. If I change it to public, what do you think? If I change this one to public, color is a public means that you can access anywhere. Okay, so when we come back to here, we'll say that return color that is allowed to access. Follow this one? Okay, if this is a public, then everything from the parent will be inherit to the child. Okay, remember in here, private is not inherit. Got this? So bear in mind. So let's say now I want to print geometry object color. You have a set and get method here, right? Okay, if you want to print the color, so these colors are defined as a public. In case you want to print the data inside here. Okay, you want to get the color print out, so set and get methods. You can put the private access modifier, but you need to come together with the set and get methods in this case. Follow in here. So the note say that this one not accessible, so you need to come together with the set and get method. Or the set and get method defined as a public access modifier. Alright? Okay, move on. Now the one we use object-oriented, we cover in the first week. The purpose of object-oriented is reusable. So inheritance is the same thing. Why we need to do so many inheritance here, split it into so many classes? The reason is reuse. Now imagine, let's say I have a geometry object, I have a circle. Now I want to create a new class called cylinder. Okay, what is the difference between circle and cylinder? Any same common attribute? Circle has a radius. Cylinder, do the cylinder has radius now? Yes, cylinder also have radius, right? Okay, so what I can do from here, now I have one class of circle. This circle has the radius. So now I want to do a cylinder. What should I do? I did not need to repeat the color, repeat the radius again, right? Color already under geometric object here already have a color. Okay, so all kind of geometric object, no matter it's a rectangle, triangle, whatever thing, all having a color. Okay, if you put under the parent here. So now cylinder, I do not need to define the color. I do not need to redefine this radius anymore. Okay, right? So now what you do? Using extend, right? This time using extend. So what you need to extend? I need to extend circle or I need to extend geometric object. Geometric object only have color. There is no radius inside. So circle, right? Okay, you want to get you want to get this radius together, right? This data for the radius. Circle extend from geometric object means that circle having the colors already. Okay, right? Circle already have a colors. So color for circle add another one called radius. So circle have two things. One is color, one is a radius. So now we come to the cylinder here. This cylinder I can say that extend from the circle. Got it? Okay, right? So once you extend from circle, you no need to have this dot color, this dot radius anymore. Now how are going to pass the data? Okay, when you're creating the object for cylinder here, you need to pass in the color, you need to pass in the radius and the height, right? Okay, these three things. But the color and the radius, these two is in the parent class. Can see from here. Now when you do the extend, the cylinder extend from the circle. So we say that cylinder is kind of circle. Okay, circle is a kind of geometric object, right? So it's a relation. Okay, so in here is a relationship. We draw the arrow. Alright, so whatever in the parent will inherit to the subclass. This one have, then it inherit to the subclass again. Okay, now I want to pass the data to the parent class. What should I do? In here, in the predicate, I believe that you go through predicate number 6, color and radius, these two. These two is under circle, right? Okay, remember here the circle we have a radius. I need to pass in the color also. Forgot to pass in. Okay, let me add it in. Color also under okay. Now how you're going to read from here? You have a cylinder. Cylinder, color and radius is in your parent class. Okay, cylinder itself only have the height. See this? Cylinder only has height. So we say that this dot height equal to the value here. Okay, so now the color and radius you need to pass to the parent. We're using this keyword called super. Super means that you call to your parent class. Super by passing in these two, radius and color. Okay, right? So radius color received by the circle. This circle again, since the color is under geometric object, so we call again to the parent class by passing in the color. Can see that? So in general, the data is passed to the circle. Circle passed again to geometric object here. See this? So in here we call it superclass. Alright? Clear this one? This is a way we're going to reuse the data. You don't need to redefine everything under the circles, under this cylinders one more time. Clear? Okay, this one. Okay, why we need to do this way? Because we need to build a relationship between them. Circle and geometric object, we say that it's a relationship. Alright, inherit allow you to build hierarchy. Okay, a family hierarchy here. Okay, we're going to use this hierarchy in the future. Okay, no need to worry about this thing. I'm going to go through further details in here. Okay, now inheritance you also need to take care in here. subclass is actually not a subset. You know that subset like in the mathematics? Okay, example, let's say I have A and B. A have data 1 and 2. B have data 3. Which one is a subset? B, right? A, B inside, right? This is B, this outside A, so 1 and 2. B is a subset. Okay, but in fact, when you do the inheritance, which one having more data? Example, the geometric object and the circle, right? You try to look at this one. Geometric object just have a color, one thing's only, one attribute. Then when you go to the circle, you have radius. See this one? Okay, so we say that circle have 2 attributes, geometric object only have 1 attribute. So in fact, parent class will be the subset of the subclass, right? Okay, in this case, but in the programming Java here, we're not going to say this way. Okay, take notes. We say this is a parent class. We do not say it's a subclass in this case. Follow? Okay, then also you need to check the relationship for this case. In Java, multiple inheritance is not allowed. So example, I want to write certain class, let's say circle, extend, geometric object. This is one inheritance. Okay, can I inherit 2 objects? Let's say I want to inherit other than geometric object, maybe I have another class called A. I can try to inherit in this way, A, B, and C. No, in Java, you can only extend 1. There is no more multiple inheritance. Okay, if you want to do the multiple inheritance, we go through another topic called implement. Okay, this is a direct inherit, no. Okay, so bear in mind that in Java, you can only have 1 inherit in here. Okay, cannot put multiple inheritance using the comma. So this one we cover in the future. Okay, this part. This is correct. Circle is a type of geometric object. Yes, you cannot say that subclass A inherit from A, then inherit from B again. No way. Okay, one subclass only have 1 parent. You cannot say 2 parent in this. Okay, next one, superclass constructor is not inherit. Now, just now I mentioned that everything public, everything you declare as a public in parent class is inherit, right? Example, let's say in here toString method, or maybe I try to do something, get color. Public string get color. Return color. Okay. Now this one method I declare as a public. Then I would like to use it in a subclass, so I can just say that this one get color, right? Okay, get color. Okay, get colors. Colors. Oh, C lowercase. Okay, C should be uppercase. Okay, in according convention, you should use a camel casing. The first letter lowercase, followed by the second word's first letter should be uppercase. So we're using this one, camel casing, and get color. Now you can see the get color here I define as a public, right? Can get that? So in a subclass, I can say from here get color, no issue. Okay, right? Even though you did not define under the circle class, you cannot see the method. You didn't see the method called get color, right? But where this get color come from is coming from the parent class called geometric object. See this? Whatever is a parent class will be inherit to here. Okay. Now the thing is, when you have a geometric object, this is a constructor. Okay, this is a constructor. So constructor we also define as a public, right? We say everything public will be inherit to the subclass except this one, private is not inherit. Right? So now, when this is a public, can I say that in here I don't want to use a super keywords? Since everything is a public inherit, right? Okay, so can I say that in here? This one is a constructor name, geometric object. I copy this name and put it here. Then I pass in the data, color. Then radius and color. Radius, color. In this way. Can or not? Compiler say? Cannot. In this case, constructor, even though you define as a public, is not inherit. Follow? Other than constructor, no issue. So if you want to call the constructor, you cannot call by using the name. So you should call by using this keyword called super. Okay, this one you have to take notes. Okay, from here, constructor is not inherit. Superclass constructor and subclass constructor have their own implicit or explicit. Now, what is mean by implicit or explicit? Now, what do you think if I remove these default constructors? Okay, if I remove this constructor in the subclass, any error causing? What happened to this radius? Geometric object just a C. Okay, geometric object just a C. So just now we have this method called circle. If I remove this one, it will cause any error or not? What do you think? This one. Last time we mentioned, if let's say there's no constructor, it will add 1 by default for you, right? Okay, you still remember this one? If you do not have, it will add it in for you. If you already have your own constructor, the default constructor, or sometimes we got no argument constructor, will be gone. Okay, will be replaced or gone. So now if I cancel this one, any error will cause. Okay, try to save it. And now I come back to the cylinder. This cylinder say that something is wrong. See from here, constructor circle in the class cannot be applied. Now what happened in here? If you do not have a default constructor, it's fine. Okay, if you do not have this default constructor, save. There's no error here, right? You can see from here all clear, no error. But if you try to add in one default constructor, it causes you an error. What happened in this case? Because in the inheritance, no matter you like it or not, this super keyword will always be added. Okay, this one, the super keyword is always being added by default. See this? Okay, so super means that you call to the superclass constructors, right? You try to call to your superclass constructor, you pass in nothing. But in the superclass constructor, do you have a constructor without any parameters? No. So that's why it causes an error. Can you get it? This one you have to bear in mind. If I continue to modify this part, add in the default constructor, then the error is solved. In here, I add one constructor. Okay, this is my default constructor. When I come back to here, then error is solved. See this one? Okay, this is invisible. If it did not add in, compiler will add for you. If you already add in, then it's fine. Got it? Same thing happened to here. If you did not have this one, okay, if you did not have this one, the default one will be super. This way. Okay, super this way. That means that the color and radius is not passed over. Follow? Okay, if you do not pass in the value by default, will be this way. Okay, so bear in mind that. And one more thing in here, superclass constructor you have to put on the first statement. You cannot put it after. Okay, it mentions over here. This is what you can see, the super keywords. If you did not add it in, by default, it will come out from here. See this? Clear, right? Any question before I move on? Okay, if the keyword super is not explicit use, that means that you did not add it in, okay, no argument constructor will be automatically involved. That means automatically add it in for you. See that? Okay, clear like this one. So these two are the same. If you did not add in, by default, you can see compiler will add one super for you. Same thing for this one. When this is an inheritance, okay, when this is inheritance, it will add for you. Okay, so public double this A, assume A is a constructor, so you will add one more for you. Alright, these two are the same, these two are the same. Okay, then next one, keywords. Super keywords refer to the superclass of the super appear. This keyword can be used. Okay, super keyword can be used in two ways. First way, you already know. What is the purpose for using this word? The purpose of using the super is call the constructors, right? Again, is to call the constructor. Now, sometimes, let's say the circle, example this one. get color. Okay, this get color is called to the superclass, right? Okay, okay. And if you did not put the super keyword, it's fine because you have only one get color is come from the parent class. Okay, it's coming from the parent class. Now just assume we have one more attribute, or maybe one more. Okay, maybe I add in one more method here. Public string get color. Okay, let's say return anything. Okay, let's say you return something from here. This method also called get color. See this, huh? So now when you say to string get color, which method is being called? The get color inside the circle or the get color in your parent class? If I call in this way, I call get colors, right? Okay, I have a get color from here, and I also have one more get color inherit from the parents. So meaning to say, this get color is calling which one? This one, right? Can get, huh? If you have your own method get color, the super class is being replaced. It's being override. Can get, huh? So now I want to call the parent class get color. I don't want to call this method get color. I want to refer to the parent class. So what should I do? Using this keyword, super again. Can get, huh? Super can be used in two ways in here. First one, to call the constructor. Second, to call the method in the parent class. Alright? Then in here, even though I do not have this method, it's optional. You can try to put in the super to make your code more clear to read. Get that? Okay, you add in here the super. From here, I know that this method is from the parent class. If you didn't put the super keywords, sometimes the coding is too long. I may assume that this get color is coming from the class itself. Okay, just to make it more clear, we add in this keyword called super. Alright, this part, super keywords. Okay, this is an example given just now. Super, you can call to the super class constructor. Okay, just put in the super followed by argument. And these super keywords, you must call the super keyword. You must use the keyword super to call the super class. Okay, this one I mentioned. And involving the constructor name in the super class is wrong. Example just now. Example just now in here, you're using the keyword super, right? If I use the name, see circle inherit from the geometry object. So can I call the geometry object to pass the data? No way. You cannot use this one. Inside the nuts, read the nuts carefully. Involve a superclass constructor name. Okay, this is a constructor name. In a subclass, it's not allowed. You have to use a keyword called super in this case. Follow, okay, in here. Sometimes we easy to make mistake. Constructor is actually a method. Okay, constructor is actually the method. If we can say that, we can try to call the method by using the name. But constructor, different case. Okay. Constructor chaining. Okay, try to look at my example here. Try to think what is the output. same? Yes, good. Okay, try to look at what I changed from here. Geometry object, I add in this system dot out the print. Okay, system dot out the print, maybe I print out one from here. Okay, see ya? This one. Under geometry object, I put in system dot out the print under default constructors. Right? Then circle. Okay, circle, I'll try to print two. Same thing, the circle constructor, I try to put in system dot out the print number 2. Okay, then same thing go to the cylinder. Cylinder default constructor, I put system dot out the print 3. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. So in the test program, I just involve cylinder C equal to new cylinder. What do you think the answer come up? Anything printed? Anything printed? Last time we mentioned when you have a new keywords, it's going to call the constructors, right? Okay, which constructor is being called? Cylinder. This one. Okay, you call to here. By right, you should get 3 print out from here. Okay, by right, you should get 3. So test this result and see what is the output. You get the answer 1, 2, and 3. Where is the 1 and 2 come from? 1 and 2 is coming from parent class, right? Remember just now I mentioned inside here, when this is an inheritance, no matter you add the super or not, it will always appear this keyword super. See this one? Okay, so before you print 3, you call to the super class. Okay, before you print this number 3, you go to the super class. Who is a superclass? Circle. So we go to the circle. Same thing, this is a constructor. Again, circle as stem from the geometry object. This is an inheritance. So it will always have this keyword called super in here. Okay, so before you print number 2, you go to the parent class one more time. So parent class here. Any inheritance? No one? Okay, no over here. Then you get this system dot out the print 1. After finish, come back to here, you get the answer 2. After finish, then only you come back to here, print out the answer 3. So that's why you get the answer 1, 2, 3 printed from here. See this? So this is what we call constructor chaining. From 1, it involves to the parent. From parent, again, it involves to another parent class until to the top level. See this? You get that? Even though I did not have a super keywords from here, so it always call to the parent class. See that? Now, what happened? Do you think that if I pass in the data? Again, this cylinder, okay, cylinder refer to here, I have 3 parameters: color, radius, and height. Color, let's say R. Radius, maybe I put 1.0. Then okay, another one maybe 2.0. So what do you need to answer this time? Again, try to look carefully. Geometric object. Okay, here I have a system dot out the print. Here do not have. Okay, in the circle, here I have system dot out the print from here. This one do not have. Okay, then go to the cylinder. If I remove this super, okay, I remove this super. What do you think the answer come up this time? This one? You call to the constructor with parameter, right? Can I call to the constructor with parameter? This one. Okay, I do not have a keyword super. Okay, I do not have this keyword super. Then will it call the super class? Yes, no? Yes. Will it call the super class? Check for the result first. What you can see from here, 1 and 2. See this, 1 and 2. Why you get the 1 and 2? Cylinder, yes, you call the cylinder. Just now I mentioned, when this is a constructor and it's an inheritance involved, by default, the super keyword will be added in. See this one? If you do not have your own constructor, super will always come before the statement. Okay, so from here you say that you did not call, so by default you call to the constructor without the parameter. So meaning to say you're going to call here. You get that? From this one, you call to the parent class, no argument constructor, then you print out these two. Sorry, you not print out, you go to the parent class again before you print out the two. So in here you get the answer, 1 printed, come back to here, 2, then come back to here, no more. In here I did not put system.out_print, so that's why you get the answer 1 and 2 only. Okay, this part. Now if I have my own constructor, how about let's say I have my own constructor? Any result come up? Once again, this one I have my own constructor passing in two data, radius, color. Okay, so go to the parent class. It will going to involve this one, right? Okay, you're going to involve this one, but in here I do not have any constructor. Okay, if you do not have any constructor, by default what we added? Super keywords. Remember that super keywords always added here. So you come to your parent class, you print out 1. Okay, it will print out 1, come back to here, assign the data, then come back to here, assign the value, then come back to here, no more. Okay, so you check this one, you get the answer, print out is only 1. See this? Okay, follow on this one. Okay, remember this, you can. So always remember, when you write the coding, when inheritance is involved, you put in the super keywords for your own reference. Okay, for your own reference. Sometimes you forgot to put this one and you do the checking. You do not know where is the error come from. It may come from the parent class. Okay, right? So always remember to put in these keywords. Okay, so here constructor changing from one class to another. You can try to look at this animation. In here, actually, the main program. Okay, in here, all the program will start from the main, right? When you run your execution, always start from the main program. So main program, I'm going to create one object called faculty. Okay, this faculty referring to the class itself. So this class itself stands for employee. That means that if you have a new keyword, it's always to call your constructors. The new keywords is always involving the constructor. Alright, so this constructor, you do not have any super keywords, right? In here, you do not see any super keyword. By default, you will add in one called super. Okay, you will add in one super. Super means that call to the parent class. Who is the parent class? For faculty, who is the parent class? Employee. See this? Faculty stands from the employee, right? So if you go to the employee first, okay, come to the employee. See, this is a no argument constructor, so you're going to call this one, no argument constructor. And again, for the no argument constructor, you do not have a super keywords. Okay, you do not have a super keywords, so you are going to add one more super keywords for you. Okay, then you're going to call to the person again. Okay, so after that, there's no more inheritance, so you get the answer 1 printed. Okay, continue by 2 printed. Continue by, after this one, you still have one statement to print, then finish, you go back to your main program. Okay, so this is a way to call from 1 to 1, go back until here, you get the answer 1, 2, 3, 4 in sequence. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 printed in sequence. Alright? Clear, huh? This one? Example, same thing, like well, I give you this example, same. Okay, this example, test rectangle geometric object. Okay, now try to identify what's wrong in this. Find out the error. Public class apple stands fruit. Okay, we have one fruit here. And this fruit is a constructor. Need to pass in the name. Okay, what happened here? If I try to run this program or compile this program, do you get any compilation error? This one? Yes, sir. Public class apple, I do not have a constructor inside here. Okay, so by default, it will add in one constructor for me. This one, it will add in a constructor public apple, right? Okay, public apple, in this case, okay, opening bracket, closing bracket. So see, this is an extent. So you add in again for the super keywords, this super. And this super keyword do not have parameter. You try to call to the parent class without any parameter. But unlikely you found that inside the parent class, this is a fruit. Parent class is a fruit. Okay, you call to the parent class. In the parent class, you cannot find any constructor without argument. Okay, you try to find out super without argument, but here you only have one super without argument. See this one? Okay, last time we mentioned that if you have your own constructor, the default one will be alright. Okay, so no more. So there's an error in here. Okay, try always to put in two constructors in each class. One is the default, another one with maximum parameters. Yeah, so this is what happened here. It always is better for you to put no argument constructor. So here you need to add in. Okay, next one. Subclass inherit method from superclass. Subclass extend property and method from the superclass. Okay, this one we mentioned already. Sometimes it is necessary for subclass to modify. Okay, now this part. Okay, just now we mentioned that everything declared as a public is already inherit. Right? Now try to look at the circle. In the circle, I try to calculate the area. You get it? Circle, I try to calculate the area. We are able to calculate the area for a cylinder. You can calculate the area for circle, right? Can you calculate the area for cylinder? If you learn mathematics, you know how to calculate, right? There is a formula, right? Okay. Now in this part, we try to put in. We try to do the calculation for area also. Okay, maybe in the test program. Test program, example, let's say I pass in the value 1 and 2 here. Radius is 1, okay, the height is equal to 2. Okay, system.out_print. Dot get area. Okay, C dot get area from here. Okay, what do you need the answer come up? If I put C dot get area, C is referring to the cylinder. Now, do you have a get area here? I did not define the get area, right? But why this get area do not have any compilation error? This get area is from the parent class, right? You see cylinder extend from the circle. So inside the circle, we have this formula to calculate the area, and it's a public means that it inherit to the cylinder here. See that it inherit to the cylinder. But now when you try to have this C dot get area, is it the answer you want? No. You just calculate the answer for the circle, right? Can get it? Cylinder, what is the formula difference between circle and cylinder? R squared times pi. Then this one, you need to have another method called calculate. Okay, this one I copy this method. Get area also under my cylinder here. Get area. And you know that the difference between circle and cylinder, the difference is the height. Okay, so you get the area for the circle times the height. You get the answer, right? Okay, so here. Do you need to redefine this thing? Times height again. Do you need to refine this radius? If you put the radius, it's not allowed to access. Remember the radius in here defined as a private access modifier. You cannot direct get the answer for the radius. So what you can do? Super dot get area. Okay, get the area for the circle times again for the height. Okay, we reuse whatever we have now. Okay, this part pi r square. Okay, pi r square times the h. Okay, you get the area. Okay, so now the method name is the same. This method and this method name is the same. Parameter same. No arguments. No arguments over here. So now when I try to call C dot get area, which one you think is being called? The parents or the cylinder itself? C dot get area. Okay, try to check the result. Like in here, when I try to run it, I get this is a result. Okay, 6 point something here. Okay, this is a result. If I do not have my own method cylinder, okay, let me remove this one. If I do not have it, what is the answer? You're going to get 3 point something, right? Okay, so prove that in here, if you have your own method for get error, it will call your own. If you do not have, then you're going to look for the parents. Okay, this is the rules of inheritance. Okay, since you have this method, then it will call the method inside the class. If you do not have, go out to the parent class. If parent class also do not have, what happens if the parent class do not have also? Let's say this get area, I cancel it. Okay, let's try it out. I cancel this one. Inside here, I also cancel. What do you think this one? Cannot find, right? Again, you try to look in this way. Subclass do not find, cannot found. Then go to the parent. Parent cannot found. Move up to the parent until the top level. It still cannot found. Then the compiler will tell you this is an error. Follow this part. All right. Okay, this method we call it as a method override. Again, child class overriding the parents. Last time we say that method overloading, right? Still remember this word, method overload? What is the definition? Method, same name, yeah, but different parameter, or we call it different signature. You can pass in integer, you can pass in double. But now try to look at this carefully. Method overloading, different parameter. Method overwriting, see this method name and the parent method name, same name. Okay, parameter also, this one nothing pass in, this one nothing pass in also. So this method we call it as a method overwriting. Okay, so you have two method name, method override, method overload. Method override only happen in inherit. Okay, you cannot have a method override inside the same class. Example in here, let's say I having the method name. Just example, let's say this method name is called A. Okay, this method is called A. Can I have another method same name? I say I want to override this method. Can I do it inside the same class? Same method name, same parameter, same signature? No, you cannot do so. Okay, it only allows you to do when this is an inheritance. Okay, inside the class you cannot override the method. You can overlook the method but not overriding. Inheritance, it can be override, overlook together. Okay, both. So meaning to say, let's say I have another one, just example, I'm passing the value here. Method name, and this method name same, right? Okay, this method name, this method name is the same. Here with the parameter, here do not have parameter. So this method is called overloading also. Okay, get it? Okay, as long as it's a method having the same name but different signature, we call it method overloading. Okay, this is a name, you need to memorize it. Example in here, display and display. Okay, this name, display, you can see inside the parent class and one in the subclass. Extend here is a subclass. Display, display. Nothing pass in, nothing pass in. So this is a method overwriting. Okay. To invoke the superclass method from, okay, this one we mentioned already. In order to call the superclass, we're using this super keyword followed by the method name. Can you get that? Super keywords followed by method name. So in here, super keywords followed by following by the method name. If the method required to pass in the parameter, you have to pass in. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the super and keyword this? You use the super keywords before. You're using the this keywords before. Now just example in this case. Yeah, I remove this one print, system.out print remove. All system.out print, I remove it. This one remove. Okay. So now try to look at this. Okay, radius. Can you try to create a circle with 0 radius? Is that possible? I ask you to draw the circle, but radius 0. Can you draw? No way. Okay, so you have to set the default value, right? Okay, let's say I create a circle. If you don't give me the radius, I will make assumption the minimum is 1 cm. Example. Okay, a circle with a 1 cm. So now you can try to assign in this way radius equal to 0. You assign the default value, right? Another way you can do. Can I call to the constructors? From one constructor calling to another constructor. You can call, right? How to call using these keywords. Okay, this followed by the bracket means that you're calling to the constructors. Okay, right? Without the parameter means that you call to this one, but you cannot call back to the method itself. Right? You will come to the recursive and let's looping. Okay, this one called here, coming again, you call back again. You will cause the error. Okay, so let's say now I want to call this constructor. I cannot call by using name. Remember, constructor cannot call by the name. You cannot say that circle I pass in the value radius 6, then maybe color blue. Okay, a green example. Remember, okay, constructor cannot call by the name. So how to call the constructor using keyword call this. This must be first statement. Okay, this one must be inside the first statement. Okay, anyway, how? This one okay, right? This is to calling your constructor in here. Another one, super. Super is used to call the parent class constructor. This is to calling the constructor itself. Follow these two differences. Okay, so super and this. One is referring to the parent class constructor, another one referring to the class itself. Okay, next part. Display. Okay, also this one I mentioned, in case you have two methods, one in the parent class, one in the subclass. If you would like to call to the parent class, we're using this one, display, super keywords, super.display. Example, this one also same thing. Now let's say, calculate just now. If I do not have this method super, what do you think? If I do not have this method super, I just call get area times height. Yes, get area referring to the method itself. Okay, the method itself, so recursive here. Okay, so remember, if you want to call to the method, the parent class with the same name, you have to use the keyword called super. Okay, you have two displays, one in the parent class, one in the subclass. So to call the parent class, we always use this keyword called super. Okay, example. Now another problem comes again. Okay, assume in this case, A extends from B. Okay, A is a subclass, B is a superclass, B extends from C. Okay, C is another class. Can I say that super.super? You know that you can call the super, right? Get area means that the superclass get area, right? So let's say a parent class have another parent. Okay, this is a parent class. A parent class have another parent. So coincidentally, parents here also have, let's say, get area. Just example, in your parent class here also have a get area. Can I use super dot super then dot super again to call to your parents class?
No.
Can or not? No, you can only use one time. You cannot have two times. Super keyword only allowed one time. You put super.super, you hit an error. You get it? So the answer from here, can you involve? Let's say from A, I want to call to the method P in my parent class. I cannot say super.super. Can you get it? Okay. So here, not allowed. Okay, next one. This part. Okay, a slightly different example. Okay, we come back to just now. Yeah, create one more project. Okay, now, okay, refer to here. Okay, first of all, okay, assume that I have one class called human. Okay, and all the setter getter, imagine now we add in all the setter getter. In here, I do not put the private keyword just for testing purpose. Okay, then one more for employee. Employee extend from the human. Okay, employee have name also. Then go to the test program. Okay, let's say I create one employee. C equal to employee extend human. What's wrong with this employee? Missing new. Okay, now I try to put in this class, not this class, this object E dot do something. Why do something having error? E dot do something. When you see the error message say that this one, cannot find symbol. Cannot find symbol means what? The method is not yet declared, right? Okay, in here do something. Do you have to do something here? No. Do you have to do something in the parent? No. So you get the error from here. Now what do you think that if I do dot to string? Any error if I put dot to string? No error. Surprisingly, okay, supplies, you see this one to dot to string, no error. But why to string no error? Do you have to string here? Alright, I do not define to string. Human, I also did not define to string. Okay, but when I try to put dot to string and do the execution, I get the results. I get this result. Where is this to string come from? Okay, you may ask why to string no error. Because in Java, you say everything is an object. Okay, everything is an object. So imagine, let's say the human, if you do not put any inherit over here, by default, again, by default, many by default things here, we have something called extend object. Got it? Okay, if we did not put extend keyword, by default, the compiler will add in this one extend object for you. So this toString method is coming from where? The object class. Again, it's coming from the object class here. So that's why you run it, you get the result in here. There's no compilation error, you're going to get this result. Okay, it return the memory location for you. Okay, toString is returning the memory location to you. So bear in mind that in this class say that Java is always inherit for you. This one Java learn.object. Everything as a class in the Java is by default extend object. Got it? Now meaning to say in here, if I don't want to declare this employee, as you know that the integer can only assign to integer, right? If I assign this one 10, 10 is integer, I can assign to integer, right? If I assign double to integer, it work or not? Let's say 1.0. It's not working, right? The data type must match, okay? But in here, instead of employee, can I change to other data type? Can I change to other data type? Can I say human? This one, I don't want to use employee, I'm using human here. Can or not? Human? Can, no error. Why no error in here? What we covered just now, extend, the keyword extend meaning is a. Okay, employee is a human. Now try to ask yourself, is employee a human? Yes, like integer, you can assign to integer, right? So now this is an employee. Employee is a human. Yes, you can try to assign to human. See this, huh? Okay, you can assign to human. Can I change it to other thing? I don't want to human. I don't want to display the human this time. I don't want to store inside the object called human this time. What I can do? Employee is a human. Human is an object. Okay, human is an object. So can I say that employee also an object? Yes, sir. Human is object, employee is object. So means that employee also is an object. So I can define here object. Got it? Okay, I can do it in this way. So when I try to run, I still manage to get back the answer like just now. Okay, so inherited in this way. So meaning to say, if you do not have, compiler will add this one for you. Okay, always remember everything as long as this is a class and we consider it's an object. Okay, so this method toString. Okay, toString just now we test. If you do not have a toString method, you get from the parent class. But this message is meaningful or not? This one. Employee alias something. Do you think that this is meaningful? No, right? So we may need to have our own method to display the data. Together. So maybe in this human, you have one data called name from here. So you can try to add one more method, this public. Public. Screen. Return. Alright. Now try to look at this one. Okay, we have one employee extend from human. We do this toString. Okay, human we also have one toString. Okay, then we come to the test program. If I assign this one to employee, if I assign employee to the object, so employee is an object, right? If I do e dot toString, what do you think the answer come up? We have three things here. One, just now we do toString, this is the data come out, right? Okay, now I have my own method called toString and print out the person name. And inside the employee, I need to print out the person name joined together with the salary. Name followed by salary, this one. Okay, what do you think the answer come out this time if I run this project, run this program? Will you get back the same data here? No, try it out and see when I run this project. you're going to get salary, because this object E is referring to employee. Okay, even though it's solid inside the object, but initial object for E is called employee. See this, huh? Alright, so you get this data, right? You have this salary and name. Okay, salary and name come up from here, not just salary and name and salary. See this one? Okay, this part. Now this one we call it as a polymorphism. Okay, now we have another new words coming in, polymorphism. Polymorphism means that one object can act many different ways. You can act as an object, you can act as an employee, you can also act it as a human. Got it? Okay, one object may act differently. Not only for the object, the method, it can be a polymorphism method also. Okay, so try to look at this one. In fact, 2-3 method is a polymorphism method. You can see that this method under the employee do one thing from here. Human, you do another thing, right? Remember in the very beginning, chapter number 1, if you still remember, polymorphism. Okay, refer to the chapter number 1. There is one picture given to you, right? Chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1. Polymorphism. Okay, this one. Polymorphism, remember this picture? Okay, we have the many different objects, right? Each object having the same method. Example, we call human speak, okay, or human talk. Okay, duck also we call it as a speak. Okay, cat we also call it as a speak. The method name is the same, right? You can see that the method name is the same, but every object perform different way. Let's say the person you're going to speak, how the person speak, maybe you say hello. Okay, then how the duck speak, quack quack, something like that. Then the cat is meow, something like that. So different object can act differently, even though the method is the same. So come back to here, which method is the same? 2-3 method. This 2-3 method, you return this one. Another 2-3 method, you perform different things. You get that? But method name is the same. 2-3 strings over here. See that? So this method we call it as a polymorphism method. This object we call it polymorphism object. This method we call it polymorphism method. Okay, different things. One more polymorphism parameter we go through later on. So clear this picture. Inheritance, we know that from parent we pass to the child. Encapsulation, we put in the private to protect the data. So now we come into the polymorphism in this case. Okay, to string method in here. Okay, override, overload. Okay, this one we cover. Okay, so in here we try to put. Now one more thing in here. To string method is not necessary. Okay, to string method is not necessary. Now just in case, I just want to do the system.out print E. What do you think the answer come up? I did not call to the method dot to string. I just put E only. So what is the answer? You're going to get the person name, then person salary. See this? Meaning to say in here, you just print the object, it will always call to string method. By default, it's always called to string. Can follow? Same result, right? If you put in dot to string, you get this result. Okay, the result just now, the noun and the salary. Okay, if you did not put the to string method, you still get the same result from here. Okay, once you run it, oops. Okay, you still get back the same result. Right? Clear? So to string method here is optional. Alright? And this say that override. Now in this part, when you do the coding, you always see there's a one, this one we call it as a warning message, right? This warning message means that to make the coding more clear, this toString method actually we try to override the parent class toString. Okay, we try to parent class also have toString, right? Okay, so it just want you to clear that you would like to override the parent toString. Not to say accidentally you put in another same method here. So what we do here, we add in this one annotation alright. Okay, that means that this method is overwriting the parent class. But in fact, you did not put this method or you did not put this annotation alright, is still acceptable. But just only underline this case. Okay, to solve this underline case, we add in this one. Alright, then error is gone. Compiler now is happy. Same thing from here. If we did not add in the overwrite method, compiler will assume that it accidentally overwrite something from the parent. Okay, just to double confirm that you're sure that this is an overwrite method, then we add in this annotation. Okay, overwrite annotation here. Okay, just a wording to acknowledge you are clear, you are going to overwrite the parent method. Okay, so toString method, just now we covered this part. This two is the same. If you put toString or you did not put toString, it's still the same thing. Okay, get that? toString method, as I mentioned just now, is a default. Okay, it's a default method. So if you did not put, it will call. Okay, example, same example like quite given just now. Okay, next one, equals. Okay, equals method, last time we know that the string, this string S1 and S2 equal to A, C, string S2. System S1 equal S2. Okay, this S1 equal S2, what you're actually trying to compare. Okay, what you're trying to compare here, S1 and S2? Is it you're comparing the data, ABC? ABC, you're comparing the data? No, you're comparing the memory location. Can you get that? This is comparing the memory location. So, in Java, it's the same string. You're going to store inside the memory pool. Okay, it's going to store inside the memory pool to reduce wastage. Okay, so if you have an ABC already defined, you get the data. So this answer, returning the answer is true because both are in the same memory pool. If you're going to say this is a new, different case, new string. If you have a new string, you're going to store in the different memory location. Okay, this is no longer compare. Okay, this one, new ABC, ABC. Okay, what do you think this answer come up this time? True or false? False, right? When you do the execution, you get the answer is false. Okay, same thing in here. Let's say I have one employee. Okay, this employee. Okay, I have one employee from here. Okay, this person, employee, I stem from something here. Okay, employee E1, new employee. E1, E2. E1, E2. Okay, E1 and E2. Assume, let's say, I already assigned the data. So this equals means that you're trying to compare the data or trying to compare the memory location. E1 equals E2. Memory location. This is to compare the memory location. See that? So if you would like to compare the data inside, you have to use a method called equals. Okay, you have to use a method called equals from here. So how to do this equals, you have to do overwriting. Okay, let me copy this one. Come to here. Okay, I would like to compare the employee. try, let's say, assign E1 basic salary 100. Okay, E2 same thing, assign the data E1 dot basic salary equivalent to 100. Okay, now just in case you would like to check whether the first employee and the second employee, their salary is the same or not. I cannot use this equal sign to compare. So you need to use a method called equals. Remember, double equal signs always comparing the memory location. So you can try to write your own method called equals. Okay, this method is written by yourself. By right, your object, this object already have an equals. Okay, already have an equals method. But now I do not want to compare the memory location. I want to compare the value. According to here, maybe I want to check both persons' salary is the same or not. Okay, so I call this method equals to check the salary is the same or not. Of course, you can try to add in the name also. So we come to here, E1 dot equals means that calling to this method equals, right? Okay, you're calling to this method equals. O, what is O? O is referring to E2. Okay, object number 2. This object number 2 you pass to this O. Okay, right? Okay, O is an object. If you do the O from here, can you get the basic salary? Object do not have a basic salary. Okay, object itself do not have a basic. Where is the basic salary? It must be come from the employee. Can you get that? Basic salary must come from employee. So that's why we do this one called casting. Remember this casting? If you learned last time, let's say double x equal to 10.0. Now I need to store it into integer. Okay, why? How we're going to do? You put this one int x here, right? Okay, this is a casting from double convert to integer. So now I need to convert from object back to employee. Okay, from object back to employee, then only I can get the data for basic salary. Okay, if both basic salary same, then I'm going to return the answer is true. See this one? Can you get that? I return the answer is true. So now come back to here, let's say I would like to check this both person, 100, 100. Okay, what you get from here, you get the answer is true, right? Because both salary is same, right? If I change this one to 200, are they the same? You're going to get the answer is false here. Can you get right? This one, Now another thing here, if you try to do the compare, can I pass in a different data type? Let's say in here, this is an employee, okay? Then I pass in one more called human. Okay, I create one more called human. H equal to new human. Okay, I create this object. Can I pass in the human and compare to employee? What do you think? Human has salary or not? Human? We have name only, right? Employee has salary. See this, employee having the salary, but human do not have. Okay, right? So what do you think if I try to run this code? You see now there's compilation, no error. Compilation, everything clear. Okay, so if I try run this project, okay, you're going to say that this one Java casting. Casting means that conversion. You cannot convert human to employee. Okay, human cannot convert to employee. See this one? Okay, not all the human is employee, right? Is all employee human? Yes, but not all human employee. So you cannot do the casting from here. Parent class cast to child class is not allowed. But child class cast to the parent class allowed. Okay, just now we try to do casting, right? If you still remember in here, if I put this one is a human, it's allowed. This is a subclass, this is a parent class. So subclass go to the parent, yes, employee is a human can. But human is not necessarily employee. Okay, so now in this part you can see inside your notes they do the validation. This validation is called it as an instant of. Instant of here meaning to say you would like to check the data type. Okay, what this data type belong to. Okay, let us try out this part. Okay, this one. Okay, come to here, instant of else do something. Okay. The only one you can do the compare is employee compared to employee. Okay, right? Employee cannot compare to others, right? Employee have salary, human do not have salary. Okay, you can also, let's say I want to compare employee and the circle. Can employee compare to circle? No way, different things. So here you do the checking. Instant of means that you make sure the data you pass in here is the employee. Okay, instant of you check the data type is employee, then only you can do the conversion. Got it? If all object you're passing is employee, then you can do the conversion. If no, then we try to return. What should we return here? Return false, not the same thing. Got it? It's not the same thing, we return false from here. We say that it's not the same, we return false. It's same, then only we return true. Okay, now come back to here. Okay, now I try to do the testing here. I pass in employee. No, I try to compare the employee with the human. Okay, employee is a human or not? No, right? So you get the answer here, returning false. Get it? Okay, so you need to know what is the meaning for this instant of keywords. Okay, it's used to check the data type. Is data type belong to employee? Yes, you do something. Okay, this one, checking the data type. This data type. Okay. Okay, this one equal, just now we say equal is compare the memory location, is referring to the address. Okay, in order to compare the contents, you have to come up with a method called equals. Okay, to be standardized, all the method equals. When a method in a subclass has the same return type and signature, okay, this one we mentioned just now. If you have a same name in the parent class and also in the subclass, method name is the same, parameter name is the same, then we call this method is a override. Okay, no issue, this one we cover. Okay, always refer to the version that method defined by the subclass. If the subclass do not have, then only you refer to the parent class. Okay, get it? Just now the toString methods, right? If employee .toString, you call the employee sub. If employee do not have, then only you look for the parent class. Okay, so always check for the subclass first. Okay, refer to the subclass first. Super.display. Error. Why is error? Like instead of method can be override only if it's accessible. Okay. Now let's say in the case here, if you define this toString is a private, can you try to use a super to call? No, right? Can get it? No. You can only call to the parent class method when this method defined as a public. Okay, private means that this method is only accessible inside the class called geometric object. It's not open to everyone. Okay, so you cannot call from the superclass. Everything defined as a private cannot be called. Okay, so this one will cause an error. Okay, method overriding. A static method can be inherited. Okay, static. Any static method. If the static method defined in the superclass is redefined in the subclass, the method defined in the superclass is hidden. Okay, same thing from here. now let's move on. Okay, not only for this what we call a public access modifier. If you have a static access modifier in the parent class, it also allows you to do the inheritance. So let's say the human I define one static X over here, okay, equivalent to 100. Inside the employee, I do not define the X over here, right? Okay, but can I do the system now? Can I return this data X? This data X is coming from the parent class, right? In here, right? So if I do display, you should get this answer here, X equal to 100. Okay, get it? Your parent class have static, you will going to inherit. Okay, in here, static method can be inherit also, not only the what we call data method also can be inherit. Okay, static. Usually when you have a static method, you need to have something called set and get method as a static also, right? Okay, right? So in case, let's say this case, I would like to have a set and get method. Okay, setter and getter, I define the value for X. Okay, so you can see getter defined as a static, setter defined as a static also. So in your employee class, I can try to access to the parent class static methods. Okay, what is the method name? Get X. Okay, get X in this way. Follow? I don't need to call this one human.getX. I can strictly call the method name is fine. Okay, right? It's also inherit. Not only the data member method itself can be inherit also. If the static method defined in the superclass is redefined in the subclass, so what happens if you have another one defined in your subclass? Example in here, static X 100. So now I redefine it in my subclass. I redefine this data 100. Now what do you think this X come up? If I do this return X, this X refer to the parent or refer to the class itself? Class itself. Okay, it's always in this case, if you have a method inside the subclass, it always refer to the subclass. If you don't have, only it refer to the parent class. Okay, class name not static also can. Now, okay, you can use a class name or you can just use this way. Okay, just now get method. Since it's already inherit, you can do it in this way. Okay, nothing special here. Super to string C. Okay. Okay, these two you have to know which one is override, which one is overload. On the left hand side is overriding or overloading. On the left hand side. How you know? You check the name and also the signature P. This one also P, right? Okay, and this one with one parameter, integer data type. This one also integer data type. So what we call this is override. Okay, get that? Override. And here you have one P integer I. This is a double. Different parameters, right? Even those in the parent and subclass. Okay, even those is parent and subclass, we also call it as a method overloading. Okay, no matter in the parent and subclass, let's say the method you put it as a public, it inherit to the subclass, right? Okay, it's automatically inherit to the subclass. Meaning to say this subclass have two method P. One is integer, one is double. Okay, right? Okay, no more. Finish. Done. Any questions so far this part? So assignment, at least you need to know how to use inheritance. Okay, we have another one called interface file. Interface file is not necessary in your assignment. At least assignment you cover until inheritance. If possible, you add in the abstract data type. Abstract data type we haven't covered. Okay, so maybe next week is next week. Assignment presentation when? Week 13. This is week number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I believe I should be able to cover until abstract. Alright. It looks like I'm not able to continue happy. If I put the lecture class next Friday, any issue? Next Friday, anyone have curfew or anything to do? Next Friday, 5 to 7. Online class. Online class meaning I attend lecture, then you attend at home. Okay, I'm facing to the chair. Okay, let me check whether allowed or not. Okay. You need to check your timetable. You need to check your timetable. If your timetable appear the time slot, then it means that next Friday is on. Okay, I need to submit the form maybe tomorrow. Today or tomorrow, I'm going to submit the form. Okay, so sign for your attendance 70071, and remember your midterm test next week according to the group 12 to 1, 1 to 2. Anyone not able to take attendance, let me know.